Surprise attack.
I was just trying to be cool.
Hi! Today I'm talking about something that is kind of weird to talk about openly because I'm not gonna say that like not that many people know about it because it makes itself known, which is sucks. I'm just gonna say that it's not something that I parade around a lot, but I do have an anxiety disorder that runs through the female part of my mom's side of the family. So my grandma has it, and my mom has it, and I have it. Anxiety is kind of different for everyone. When I have anxiety attacks, it's more like throughout a few hours. So basically it's like I lose my appetite and I'm kind of shaky, pale, and it just like feel like I don't want to talk to anyone. But when I have panic attacks, it's more like, you know when like your friend scares you, like you come upstairs and your friend is like around the corner and they scare you and your heart like beats and then you're like, haha, that was funny. It's more like the scared part for like longer. It keeps going. It's, or like, you know that meme that like the panic button meme? It's like that. Sometimes it keeps me from doing the things that I want to do. Lately I've been better at pushing myself to doing things that I want to do and I don't regret it, but it has affected me and my whole life. I'm just here to talk about it and kind of give people some answers because I know in the school that my elementary and middle school, people were very confused. I think even the nurse was kind of confused, even though she did help me a lot, and I'm very, very grateful for both of the nurses that were there. But yeah, when I was little, I did like feel like I was different from all the other girls. From everyone, but like everyone says that. But like from the other girls, they were all like, I don't know, they just were like, I felt like they were cool and stuff, and I was like, ugh, you know? Like, I just was not into what they were into, and I was just not more, I was kind of more reserved, but I'm an outgoing person, but they kind of made me not want to talk because I didn't want to get into their little thing that they had going on. Not that they were, I mean, some of them were mean to me, but not that they were too mean to me. I just felt like kind of excluded, but that's kind of how life works. So in 2nd grade, one day I'm going to school, I'm on the bus and I start getting, oh, also when I have panic/anxiety attacks, my mouth like loses all its saliva, so it's called dry mouth. So I'm on the bus, I start getting dry mouth and I'm like, this is weird. I'm in 2nd grade and I don't know what's happening to me. And I didn't tell the bus driver because like our bus driver, she didn't really speak English, you know. So we arrive at school and I'm drinking from my water bottle to like keep my mouth like moist. I'm kind of just like sitting there like trying to calm myself down and I'm like, what's going on? I don't know why I didn't tell anyone. As a little kid I took care of myself when I really didn't have to. I don't know why I did that. The bell rings and our class is called to go to our homeroom. I follow my class down to our homeroom and, you know, it's the time in the morning where we start unpacking our bag and, you know, getting everything ready for the day. My mouth is still dry, so I keep drinking water and my teacher comes up to me, she's like, put your water bottle away, it's not time for that right now. And I was like, well, I don't know why I didn't tell the teacher. I put my water bottle away and I'm getting my stuff unpacked and I remember walking with my backpack to the closet to hang it up and my brain goes, you're dying. I hate this story. And I just scream. Like, I scream at the top of my lungs, full on, I'm being murdered scream. The whole class just stops and they all just look at me and I don't remember anything else. Because, not that I fainted, I didn't faint, nothing really happened. I think someone walked me to the nurse, but I don't remember that. Apparently my brain is like, that's too bad of a memory to remember, so it's just not there anymore. And that was my first panic attack. In 3rd grade, I did not have any anxiety whatsoever. No panic attacks. I probably had like one. But in 4th grade, I had a panic attack like every day. I lived in the nurse's office. Not that she really did anything for me. No one else was in there. So I was kind of just like, you know, chilling and like, well, not chilling actually, but I was just like sitting there and no one else was around me, so I don't know. One of the panic attacks I do remember is one where I was sitting there in class. This isn't any trash against the teacher or anything. I freaking love this teacher. I go and visit her all the time at the school. But this just shows how Anxiety really isn't something that a lot of people understand, and every day more and more people understand it. That's a giant spider web. I don't see a spider though, I just see a fly in there. The night before I had gone to acting class, and I'm not really sure how my teacher knew that I had gone. I also had a panic attack at my acting lesson, and then the next day I went to school. I'm sitting there and I said, you know what? Today I don't want to go to the nurse. What if I just freaking sat here and waited it out? Like, what happens if I just wait it out? So I'm sitting there and the room starts to go blurry. I'm sitting there and I'm like, you can do this. Half of me is like, I need to go to the nurse. Half of me is like, no, you can freaking do this. All of a sudden I'm like, I can't do this. And I just burst into tears. Like, literally, she's trying to teach math, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I just freaking start sobbing. The whole class just stops, looks at me. I'm an outcast anyway at this point, so I'm just like, I'm crying. The teacher drops her, like, throws her book, like, on the desk, and is like,
you went to acting class last night, why can't you come to school?
And I'm like, that just made me cry even more. She has this one guy walk me to the nurse, and he was so nice about it. He carried my backpack. He's like, oh, this sucks, I'm so sorry. That was so nice. 5th grade, I didn't have any more panic attacks. In 6th grade, in the beginning of the year, I didn't really have them. It got to like winter, and I started having them every day once again. So this was my routine every day. I would go to lunch, have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, go to literature class with this one teacher, and you know, she was a very funny person, but at this point in time I was not very fond of her because I had bangs that would cover a quarter of my eye. Every day I would go to class and she did not like my hair, so she either wanted me to cut it off or pin it back, and she literally brought me a pin to school so that I would put my hair up, and I never did. I rebelled against her because that's my freaking hair. I've had worse haircuts, honestly. Not saying it was a good haircut. I'm just saying that was my hair and I wanted it like that. Like, girl.
Like, girl?
I was kind of afraid because, like, she was just bugging me for something that I liked. I would go to class every day and I would be really not afraid of her, but she kind of gave me a stomach ache, so I would go to class. That's the class I would have a panic attack in. I was like, why is this happening? So I would go to class, my stomach would start hurting, and then I have a fear of vomiting. So I would start to freak out and have a panic attack, which would give me more of a stomach ache, and it was just like this vicious cycle of like death. I told my mom, and she was like, let's take you to the doctors. So the doctors did a strep test. They're like, oh, you have strep. And I did have strep. I was like, oh, okay, that must be what's happening. I stay home, I get over the strep, I go back to school, and it's still happening. So I tell my mom again, and I go back to the doctors, and I still have strep, apparently. I stay home again with strep, I go back to school, I tell my mom it's still happening after a few more months. And then I get the stomach bug. Oh my god, guys, I had the worst stomach bug. It was so bad. I go back to school, I'm like, that must have been it. It's probably cleared out of my whole body by now. After a few months, it's still happening. So I go up to my mom and I'm like, Mom, there's something wrong with me. So she takes me to the doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, what? He's like, let's do blood tests. And they're like, oh, you might have a gluten allergy. A little not a surgery, but like, you know, they like scrape the lining of my stomach or whatever. And I wake up, they're like, you have celiac disease. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? They told me I was allergic to gluten and I couldn't eat wheat, barley, or rye anymore. And I was eating peanut butter and jellies for lunch every day. And then I would go to that class. By the time they told me that, like, school was over. I went to school first day of 7th grade, and I told my teacher, I was like, I have a gluten allergy. She didn't even care. She was like, okay, and I was like, what? I had an allergy and I didn't know about it, and it was giving me panic attacks. My anxiety didn't go away fully. The summer from 6th to 7th grade, I realized that I wasn't straight. That was the summer also I'd come out to my mom, and also it was giving me anxiety because I had to go back to school in a Catholic school. I went back to school and I told my best friend and a few other of my friends, and I realized that it was probably a mistake, but I don't regret it because it made me the person that I am today. And what I mean by that is everyone found out. Somehow I really don't remember how. I've blocked out a lot of the memories from 7th and 8th grade just because they were so bad, which sucks because I would like to remember them. I mean, if they were good, it would be nice to remember them, but I don't, and that's just how it is. I remember that all the boys found out, and all the boys, you know, they're hormonal and 12. It was just really not a good year. 7th grade in that school was literal hell. They gave me so much homework that I don't even have in high school. It's real that I won't get until like junior year. Like, honestly, that school can sue me for saying this because like I'm telling the truth. Luckily I wasn't like living in the nurse's office, but like it was not a good year for my anxiety. 8th grade. I could say a lot about 8th grade. Again, I'm probably gonna make a whole video on 8th grade because it was so bad. I went through a lot in that year. 8th grade was really hard for me just because, I don't know, people were mean and they decided to be mean, and I look like this now though. I'm kidding. I ended up I'm not going to talk about really what happened in 8th grade until I make the video. I had a lot of anxiety about not being the person I was supposed to be and not being good enough. I had to listen to like really like heavy metal like every day on the bus before I got to school because I was like, what is going to happen to me today? Who is going to say what today? And I was so worried every day that someone was going to say something mean to me. In the beginning of 8th grade, I had a teacher, I'm not gonna say what she taught. I had forgotten my homework, which was starting to give me a panic attack. So I said, I'm having a panic attack, can I go downstairs? And when I came back up, I was going to show her that I had forgotten my homework. But priorities. She said, yeah, go downstairs to the nurse. So I went. When I was coming back upstairs, she was downstairs in the hallway walking the opposite way of me, so we were gonna cross paths. She's like, how are you? I'm like, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. And so she said, I went over to your desk and saw that you forgot your homework. You don't have to fake a panic attack just because you forgot it. You should have just told me. And I wasn't gonna argue with her. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then so she looked at me and she's like, no more panic attacks, okay? And I was like, I was really upset that she really thought that I was using it as, oh, there's a giant moth outside. I was really upset that she thought that I was using it as some sort of excuse, that I was using mental illness to get out of class, when in reality, I was going to show her that I had forgotten my homework, but her homework isn't my priority, my mental health is my priority. As you can see, people in the school that I was going to literally sucked, except for a few. They didn't understand me whatsoever. Now that I'm in high school, and it's a public school, there are so many different types of people, and for some reason theater kids have anxiety. All of us do.
Is that accurate though?
I don't know. When I have a panic attack now, literally, like, I'm surrounded with, like, the best people, and they understand me. Honestly, life gets better if you're in the middle of, like, really bad anxiety or, like, really bad mental illness. Honestly, I promise you that life gets better. I still have panic attacks. I had anxiety today, but I have pills that actually work now, and it's—
Sorry. When you want to feel included.
Honestly, life is good now. And it's okay to take medicine for your anxiety if you need to feel better. It's okay to say, I need a break from this because I'm having a panic attack. And now I know how to control it, and everything's okay. Thank you for watching. I'll probably make another serious video like this at some point. But for now, this is my first serious video. Goodbye.
I was just trying to be cool. I was just trying to be like you.
And it's